to Tune In Tuesday at 2. So what's interesting about this demo is that I was trying to find a paper this week that would be really quick and easy. And I had some notes from like 5 years ago about doing paper on aluminum foil or paint on aluminum foil. I said, okay, that would be easy. No problem, right? So, by the way, this is inspired by an artist named Carol Nelson. She's the one that I originally learned it from, but I didn't have many notes on it. All I had was paint on aluminum foil and a couple, little techniques that I'm going to show you, but I didn't really know how to make it work. So it took me 3 hours of not making it work before I got it to work. So hopefully I can shortcut this for you. Hey, Carol and Paula. So just so glad you're all here. So I want to show you how to make this technique work from the very beginning. And really, it's suddenly like my favorite thing. And I'm definitely going to add it to Collage Joy as one of the paper techniques because it's kind of damn cool. So let me show you. I'm going to turn my camera around and bring you over to my demo table. So let me do that. Okay. Oh, it didn't work. Okay. I think I hit it twice. Okay. So here's my little demo. Someone was asking on Instagram today about my what do you call this thing? It's a lamp that also is a tripod. So I just put my little camera right there, and it's called a Campbell lamp, and I just kind of love this thing. So if you want a discount code for it, let me know. Just DM me after this, and I'm happy to tell you how to get it for cheaper, because if you're going to film something like I do, or if you want to do like reels, this is a really nice thing. So this is what we're going to make. So the way this started was with these cool embossed aluminum foil papers. I've gone quite a bit farther than this, but this was the originals. Well, I shouldn't say the originals. These are the ones that I end up liking because I have a whole pile of ones that I don't like. So let me show you how to make these plus a whole bunch more. So the first thing you need to decide is what kind of aluminum foil to use. By the way, I'm hoping this lighting is okay. Usually I'm much brighter, but then I can't read any of the comments. So I realize if I make the light a little bit less light, I can actually read comments. So at least I'm hoping I can. So there's two basic kinds of aluminum foil. Actually, probably millions of them, but this is what I found. This is cheap aluminum foil I got from the dollar store. And you can hear it's really lightweight. This is what I tried with it first, and it worked, but it was much harder to use. Then finally I went to my own kitchen cabinet and found heavy duty, and this is what I prefer to use, and I'll show you why. So this is heavy duty, this is lightweight, you can hear the difference. This is much more substantial, and let me demonstrate why it's substantial. I have a little demo to show you. So here are two papers I made with the same imprint, and I'll show you how to make the imprint in a few minutes. But this is heavy duty, this is lightweight. So if I take a roller and roll against this, it flattens it out, but I still have that nice pattern in it, but a lot of it's been flattened out. If I do the same thing to the heavy body one, heavy duty, it's the same. There's basically no difference. So because I want to file these, I don't want to use them right away, I want to store them away, I would prefer to keep that nice dimension, which I'm going to show you how to do the dimension in just a second. So where to start here? There's so many things to show you. So first, let me show you. So I'm going to be doing all of it on this heavy weight stuff just because that's what I want to use long term. So you can do this technique on the shiny side or the dull side. You might want to try it on both. It just has a different effect. I'm not crazy about the shiny side. However, I dull this down at the end with matte medium. So it doesn't really make a difference. So I'm going to do this initially on here. So first you need some paint. Now I'm using Nova paint, and Nova paint is kind of a cross between a heavy body and a soft body. It has a little bit of a liquid thing to it, but whatever you use, you want to use it full strength. So in fact, I'm going to mix some quick color right with you. So I've got, these are part of my color palette for Collage Joy and Collage Kickstart. So all these papers I can actually use. This is a Philo Blue Green shade. This is Hansa Yellow Light. So this is colors that I use quite a bit. So you can see, I mean, it's not fluid, but it's also not like really, really heavy out of a tube. It's really a nice, I found that this particular consistency works really well for this technique. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to paint this on here. Now, it paints on really nice, just like paper. It is leaving brush strokes. However, I've got another paintbrush that actually it's my favorite paintbrush, which I really need to get 10 of them. This is it's called it's a Princeton oval mop brush. And when you use it, it just takes out some of those, what do you call them? Brush strokes. So I try to remember to use this because it's less brush strokes. So I could leave this just like this. I think that's lovely. And you can see the kind of the aluminum foil coming through a bit. But you could also do some fancy stuff, just like if those of you who took Kickstart, we take bottle caps and we could do, cool impressions in this, which is really cool, I think, because you're actually opening up some of that silver underneath, which I really completely adore. I could overlap them. So that's one option, which I think is pretty cool. Let me put that aside. Let's take another one. And I love making impressions and things. In fact, I should just use my mop brush, my oval brush. Right before I came on, I was like experimenting with how many ways could I do this. Okay, so I got some more paint on here. And I have this, it's a bottle opener. I mean, it's a lifesaver for me. But this is makes the most beautiful impression in white paint. And because it's silver underneath, look at that. Oh, I just think, and I don't know, I just love that. I just think that's the coolest thing. Okay, put that one aside. Now, another version of this, let's try crumpling it up. This is something I tried right before I came on. I went, oh, wow. Now if I can just uncrumple it. Okay, I should have uncrumpled it before. This heavy duty aluminum foil wants to hold on to this. Okay. Oh, by the way, the lightweight stuff rips really, really easy. That did rip, but the lightweight stuff, I was ripping it almost doing nothing to it, and it was ripping. So let me spread this out a little bit. Okay, this didn't work this way when I was doing it on my own. Okay, so I got a bunch of wrinkles in here. Just ignore there's a rip there. And I'm just going to paint right into this. In fact, I might just take the full blue without the mixture. Paint over the whole thing. Now that alone, I think is pretty cool. But of course, I love water, right? So let's add water to this. And I've got a bunch of tissue paper on the side that I'd like to add some layers to. So I'm just going to sop up some of that extra water. And then we start seeing some really nice kind of mountains and valleys. Let me get rid of this. Sop it up a little more. Now I'm creating not only aluminum foil, but I'm creating an interesting thing on my tissue paper. So once this dries, this will also be something usable for collage fodder. But I think that is really beautiful. And it's showing the silver through. So that's a pretty simple thing to do. And it's going to keep its original shape. But even if I roll that out, it's going to keep much of the original shape. It'll still, all the paint will dry in all those little rivets. And I'll have some really interesting marks that it's hard to figure out where they came from. So let me put this one down. Just, I'm looking at the tissue paper on the floor, and it looks like, wow, the tissue paper looks really cool. Let me wipe this up a little bit. All right, next thing. Actually, let's see what I want to do next. This is something that I learned directly from Carol Nelson. So she suggested getting these embossing packets. These are actually what people who do make their own cards. They make impressions, and this is meant to go through a machine, an embossing machine. You do not need to do that. So what you do is by the way, you can get these on Amazon. They come in all different kinds of patterns. I bought 3 of them. It costs about $7 to $8 if you buy them just individual. They also have them in big packets of a whole bunch of them. So actually, I'm going to use a bigger size because I want to show you how to do this. So you can put it you can put this in the packet a couple different ways. So I'm going to do the first one with this design up. So instead of putting this to an embossing machine, I'm going to use this heavy candle. And I'm just going to rub it really hard. Now, you might be thinking, why don't you just use a roller? Like, I could use like this roll. Oops. Okay, this roller. It actually does not do all that well. Putting a little bit of elbow grease kind of mimics what would happen if I put this through an embossing machine. But you don't need one because I make pretty good marks without it. Okay, so there's the first one. Now I'm going to flip this over and do it reverse because you really can do this both ways. There's no reason why one side is the right side to this. I like both sides, but they do give it a different impression. Okay. So it may be hard to see, but I'm going to paint on this and you'll see the difference between the two. Now, there's a couple ways to paint on this, actually probably 3 distinct ways of doing it. So the first way is I'm just going to use this side now. So I'm not going to completely paint over this. So it's all filled in. Actually, I think that's kind of pretty. Just that. So he has some kind of luminescence coming through it. And of course, I can then, if I wanted to, mop a little bit of that up. So I've got a little bit of, so I like that as a possibility. And I also got some on the tissue, which is nice. And of course, I could spray with water. That's always a good option. Love the option. Anything with water. I don't know why. Love water. Soak some of that up. Of course, you can't really see what the end result of this particular one's going to be until this actually dries. But now a lot of the silver's coming through. You can see that, which I think, and I also have a nice tissue paper here. I'm putting the tissue paper down. By the way, what I'm putting the tissue paper down on is I have 3 big shower curtains lying on my floor. So I actually like this mopped up a little more because now I've got some of the silver circles showing through. Now, another way of doing it that I'm pretty enamored with is brushing really lightly on top. Now, to do this, you have to get almost all the paint off your paintbrush. So this is well, let me get more off. So it's just a light, and you literally just, I hope this is going to work. Yeah, it's going to work. So I'm just lightly painting over. So it's not going in every rivet. It's kind of painting on top. I think there's water on here, so it's not working as well. I'll do another one that will show you that I like not having I don't want the whole thing covered necessarily. Although by adding water, let me get some more of that water that will paint off. I just think that is a very cool effect. Now, just so you know, I don't like shiny things, so I'm going to show you how to get rid of that gloss, unless you like gloss. I mean, there's a lot of artists I know that, like Jane Monteith, she just loves things that are shiny. She loves resin. It's just not, maybe I'll like it next year, but right now, I like things that are matte. It's my personal preference. Okay, that's pretty cool, but I can do better. let's see. Let's do another one. Gotta get my mop stuff up here. By the way, just so you know, I'm using this mat here. I know, Diane, you have one of these. This is a Ranger craft mat. Everything comes off of it really easily. So here's another one of these packets. And I'll make an impression using both sides. Okay, and I'm going to flip this over just because it's fun to see both kinds. Actually, and I think they're going to line up, even though they're giving me opposite impressions. Okay. And I could just do a third one, just for the hell of it. To have a full sheet here. Okay. So I want to try that dry brush technique again, see if I can do a better job. So let's just, sorry, kind of rub it gently across here with not a lot of paint on it. There is a technique to this. Actually, it's working right now. But you have to be really light in how you paint, because otherwise it will get in too much of the drivets. And I like it actually not doing that. Now this one is the opposite of that one. So it's actually doing a different thing here in terms of what it's picking up with the paint. So I think that's an interesting look. Again, I'm going to get the shine off of this pretty soon here. And I'm going to show you one other way of, let me use this one, which I think is a really cool design. So my packet tap. Okay. Let's flip this one over. By the way, it's like 90 degrees in my studio. I don't know, for some bizarre reason, I have my air conditioner off. I just love fresh air. But it just dawned on me that this might be irrational, especially when I'm doing a demo, because I'm like, ooh, it's kind of hot in here. Okay, so now I have these. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to paint, again, right into this. This particular one I think is really cool for this particular card thing. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'll add a little bit different color to this one. Ooh. Now again, I'm going to add some water to this because I think that soaking this up, and I can't, oh, here it is. Soaking this up makes really beautiful divots, if that's the technical term. So look at this one. I mean, it's got this. That's one I really like a lot. So it gets a little more of the paint off. So it's fully painted almost. Took a little, but it's got this beautiful, whatever you call that. And then I can do a drippy thing. So it adds, but this one is doing exactly what I wanted to do. I'm just going to use this as a mop. Yeah. But, you know, as all collage papers are, it's a hit or miss. But this is the one I'm probably going to make a whole bunch more to. Put my tissue down. Okay, I got a couple more things to show you. This one, oh my God, I want to make some more of those. So let me show you using a stencil doing this. Oh, I just realized I could do something else. Oh, well, where's my stencil? Okay, so stencil. It goes like this. Is that right? Or it goes like this. Actually, I could do it either way. Let me try it this way. But with this, you really do have to do a roller, because if I used that candle, I would, oh, there, it does work like this. Okay. If I used the candle, I'd rip right through it. So I'm making an impression. Okay. Now, there's a couple things I could do with this right now. I could paint straight over it, which, by the way, is this. So this is that design. I just painted straight on it, so I'm not going to do that. But instead, I'm going to use, if I can find them, oh, here it is. So I've got some archival stamp pads. Got a Stazon, a couple Ranger ones. So this, I think, works really, really cool. So I just lightly do this to it. And I've got a very cool effect on top. Now I could also layer these. So that was like that was called coffee. I could do this. This is supposedly black, but when it interacts with the foil, it turns kind of a dark blue. But I think that is quite stunning. I could have been more careful, but it just kind of lightly goes over there. So when you use the foil pieces in collage, how do you prevent the embossed pattern from disappearing? Well, if you look at the beginning of this demo, if you use heavyweight foil, it actually does not, it doesn't flatten that easily. And even if it did flatten, like this one I actually rolled with a roller, it still has all its dimension. Now, if I use lightweight, lightweight, this has been rolled too, but you still see the impression. Now, I can easily just glue this down. I can tear this off and glue this down into a collage, and it's going to stay where it was. Okay, let's see, I have a whole list of things here. Okay, let me show you the last thing. I want to show you how to seal this long term, because I want this to last. I want this to be in a collage. So I'm looking for a piece that I can, well, actually, I'm just going to show it to you. So here's a piece. This is, one big piece. This is actually one of the last one I did, I think. And I put matte medium on this side, and I put gloss medium on this side to seal it. And so this retains its original look. It has all a silvery look to it. This one has a matte look, and this is the one that's what I'm going to do on all of mine, is I'm going to put a matte. The other advantage of using matte and not the gloss, and again, it's personal preference, because some people love shiny. I just like matte. But the big advantage of the matte is that when you file these all together, I'm going to file all my greens together, my blues together, I have found that the matte does not stick to each other. So when I'm filing this next to each other, they're all sticking to each other. And then when I pull one apart, some of the ink the paint comes off on the other one, which I did not find true with this. This is not sticky. This one's still sticky. So I'm not sure there's a better way of doing this, but I just think that's a really, really yummy look. And just because I'm curious, so here's one, this already has a matte medium on it. I'm curious what this would look like if I just lightly, oh my gosh, yes. So I'm just lightly brushing on a second color. So the bottom layer, I painted 100% on and then blotted it off, put water on and blotted it off. But now I'm adding more dimension by adding a second layer of lightly brushed on color. I could have also used a stamp pad and do the same thing. In fact, I'll do that right now. Let me take the black stamp pad, but I'll do it on this side. Oh yeah, that's pretty cool. Now I need to seal it again, because I've just, I don't want anything to move. But I think that is really, in fact, now I'm tempted. I only have black and browns of these, but I'm thinking about getting different colors, which I don't have. So I'm just looking at your questions. I love this technique. Looking forward. Yes, I love it too. Thanks, Lynn. Actually, I'm giving credit to Carol Nelson. I'm going to put her link in the her Instagram link in the thing. I suppose even if it's physically flattens out, they're still dark. Yes, they're still darker or lighter. In fact, all of that ink is going to still be there. So if I flatten this out, you're still going to see all the impression. It may be flattened out, but I mean, this heavy body aluminum foil doesn't really flatten out. Maybe it will over time, but still you're going to get all the impressions. So I think it's going to be pretty cool. Any other questions? So personally, I'm going to be adhering these with more matte medium. So I will make a whole bunch of these papers. And I don't know if you can see this, but this one, even though it has matte medium on it, it still has that shiny silver coming through. There's even a little couple pieces of where it's actually rubbed off a little bit, which I'm fine. But I still need to seal it, and then no more of the paint would actually rub off. So if you brayer the paint on the raised areas of the folder and then emboss, you won't have any paint on the debossed areas. I'm not sure if I understand that. If you brayer the paint on the raised areas, that's true. So, it's worth it with the little, what do you call those things? The embossing. Is it going to let me go? Sorry, I have gloves on, so it's not letting me react to this. There I am. I just kept flipping the embossed folder over and over again and adding paint and taking paint off. I think there are probably like 500 ways that you could actually do this by experimenting with rollers and dry paint brushes and papers you lay into it. It's pretty much the same as when you're just doing paper with paper. Like when you're making collage papers with just drawing paper and with tissues. I think I answered the questions. So if I haven't, I think that's it. I love this, provides such a gorgeous variety to your eye. So if you look at Carol Nelson's account, which again, I'll put a link to her, but I think it's Carol Nelson Art. She makes a lot of her art. I don't know if it's all of it. I don't think all of it's like this, but she makes a lot of unique textured papers, and aluminum foil is one of her trademarks. So she has a tremendous number of earth tones, beautiful earth tones in her art. Hey, Judy, love seeing you. Do you just seal the top side? That's a good question. I'm so new at this, Bonnie. I'm thinking I am going to just seal the top side. Whatever side has the paint on it is what I'm going to seal. I don't think I need to seal because the bottom side is going to be sealed anyways, because I'm going to adhere it to a collage with matte medium. So it's going to get sealed regardless. Will you post a finished collage using the foil? Actually, I'm more than likely going to use these. I'm going to make a whole bunch more, but I'm going to make them as part of my samples for Collage Joy. And they will get posted. So over time, I will post my samples. So yes, I just haven't I don't have enough of these papers to actually make a collage yet. So that will probably be in the weeks ahead. I like the ink pads too. Now what are we going to do with these papers? Good question, Lynn. I'm thinking they're going to go in collages like pretty soon, because I love the effect of them, particularly with the matte medium on top. I'm not crazy about the shiny aluminum foil, but I'd have to practice more. Maybe I would like it a lot if I kept playing with it. Yes, I put the matte medium on top of the paint. Carol Nelson has at least one video on Craftsy. Oh, really? She also apparently has a, a Facebook page that she does a lot of demos on. I didn't look at them. All I had is like bare notes, and the bare notes said paint full strength. So you don't want to water down your paint. That's the thing I learned the hard way, is you want to put full strength paint down, because if you put watered down paint, like you thin it out, which at first I thought that's the way to do it, but it rolls right off the aluminum foil. So you got to have full strength paint, which is what I got from When is Collage Joy coming? Well, there's $1,000,000 question, Jana. It's coming. I'm creating it. I am hoping to have it out by the end of summer. And notice I don't give a date because I've just hired an editor to help me because I have so many videos, so many projects and lessons, and I'm a little overwhelmed by all of this. So it's coming, and it will be coming. I just don't want to. I want to give you everything that I have in my head, you know, in terms of I want to make it really complete. So I don't want to rush it out. I want to make sure that it's kind of meets my vision, and I think that it's going to support you, and that you'll like it. I am so prolific. Where do you store such a massive amount of papers? Well, Bonnie, I actually every time I get like a pile of maybe, I don't know, 10 inches of papers, I sort it out all over my what do you call it? My studio table, and I sort them first by major colors like teal, blue, green, yellow, red. So they get the major colors, and then I resort them according to values, light, medium, and dark. And then I file them in file folders first by the color, and then within the color gets those 3 values. So as I'm collaging, it makes it really easy. You know, if I know I need a light blue, I just go to my light blue file and pick out my favorite paper. And by the way, I don't keep all my papers. So some of the papers I have, you know, over time, I either paint over them because I haven't used them, so I don't like them all that much. I rarely throw anything away though. So mainly I just paint over them, you know, add another layer to it. Do you think you'll make a collage using the foil and nothing? Oh no, definitely not just foil. It will definitely be just one element. I think I've seen Carol Nelson do entire collages. I don't think it's just foil, but she does a lot of collages that have a lot of the foil in it. But it will be a lot of stuff. Anyways, thank you all for coming. By the way, I am working today, so I am actually gonna get lunch really fast. And little thing no one knows about what I'm doing this week is I'm actually headed to the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota tomorrow. My first airplane trip in, 2.5 years. I've been very careful about COVID more than most people because I've got a lung condition. Some of you may have been around a year ago with me and know that I got a PET scan and then a CAT scan, and it was very scary, and they thought I might have had cancer. Well, I don't, but I do have a serious lung condition, so which made me a little more susceptible to COVID. I haven't gotten it, so I've been really, really careful, masked up, but now I'm going to the Mayo Clinic to see if I can really solve this little issue in my lungs. Anyways, thank you all for coming. Anyways, love you all. Mwah! And I'll see you next Tuesday.